Just phenomenal progress on day one. So I was looking at the mentor teams and the individuals that were participating, and I was just blown away by what's been happening.
As of Friday at 5:30, we were all strangers that were assigned together in a group. And it was pretty crazy to see everybody coming together for one mission. This was probably one of the best group experiences I've ever dealt with personally.
Something like this where we can help out and get real experience, I think it's really valuable.
Our mentors were amazing, staying with us like 12 hours straight.
Actually be putting a skill set and a passion and a drive into something that could potentially make a difference has been a really unique and really, really valuable experience. I've learned a lot.
Think about ways that we can continue to connect people as this quarantine goes on.
We were trying to do something for his school. He's not able to talk to his teachers. He's not able to see his friends.
This is the health funnel. This is, how we help out with folks that are locked up at home and can't find supplies. That's really what we need right now.
Hello and welcome to Cyber Focus, your source for international business information. I'm your host, Tim Smith, and my guest today is Professor Regan Stevenson. Professor Stevenson serves as an assistant professor of entrepreneurship and management here at the Kelley School of Business and was named to the John and Donna Shoemaker Faculty Fellowship in Entrepreneurship. Regan's research is focused on understanding the early stage challenges that entrepreneurs face when launching and scaling new ventures. This includes the behavioral foundations of resource acquisition and the role of cognition effect in entrepreneurial judgment. Prior to entering academia, Dr. Stevenson was involved in several new ventures and was selected as a finalist for the Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Dr. Stevenson enjoys teaching action-based entrepreneurship classes at both the undergraduate and graduate levels here at Kelley. Today, we will be discussing Professor Stevenson's recent initiative, the creation of a worldwide movement bringing 200 people together virtually, seeking solutions for problems arising from the novel coronavirus. Regan, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Well, yes, absolutely. Thank you for opening your home to us. Everybody's invited in today, right?
Okay.
Well, thanks, Regan. I appreciate it. So great. Let's talk about the idea sprint. What a fantastic idea. Help us understand what the genesis was behind the idea sprint.
So the idea sprint came together pretty quickly, and it really just, of course, is a result of this incredible shift we've had in the world over the last few weeks and month or so. So basically, we went immediately to this lockdown situation across the world. And as somebody that's involved with entrepreneurship and teaching entrepreneurship and trying to get ideas to go from the idea stage to the prototype stage or to build out ideas, was sitting around and thinking about ways that we might be able to get involved with helping social ventures that were out there that might want to do something about this incredible problem that we were facing. And frankly, just being at home for a few days, being separated from all of our colleagues, a lot of us started to feel a little bit helpless, like, what can we actually do to help here? So my department, the Department of Management and Entrepreneurship at the Kelley School, decided that we would have a call on Tuesday, or it was a Monday or a Tuesday, the week before the sprint. And at that call, I proposed some ideas that we could get involved in and do something that would be potentially large in scope, open up to anybody that wanted to get involved, and basically combine the idea of a design sprint and a startup weekend to help anybody that had an idea see if we could build out from idea to prototype in the weekend. So it started just with initial call, and ideas started flowing, and our group is really strong at understanding how to move from idea to prototype and experience in social entrepreneurship. So by the end of the call, we had decided that we were going to do it. And we had to go into entrepreneurial hustle mode, which is something that we teach and talk about a lot in class. But frankly, it's been a long time since I was an entrepreneur before becoming an academic. And it was exciting and scary at the same time, knowing that we have a lot of institutional constraints typically in academia, and just realizing that if we were going to do this and we were going to make an impact, we would have to move fast. So the first thing we did was we threw up a landing page, which is what we teach in our class. So basically, put up a landing page on the web and see if there's actually market demand. In this case, is there anybody that actually cares that they have some ideas or that would want to participate? That basically Tuesday, it took me about an hour to put that together. And it started to just take a life on from its own from there. So.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for walking us through that part of it. So then it happened. Did it just come together that easily, or were you up most nights trying to facilitate this thing?
Yeah, we were lucky that I was self-quarantining at the time because my family was wondering where I had gone to. So I was in my office and we were working around the clock with this very small team, about 6 professors that were kind of putting this together. And what we had to do was reach out to participants, figure out how we were going to structure each of the sessions, and basically put this together on the fly. So it wasn't that easy. Luckily, we were able to leverage some of our experiences in our Kelley Direct program, which is our online MBA program. And we had some really great people that are phenomenal in that program help us with setting this up as an online delivery. So there's a lot of things out there in terms of startup weekends and sprints, but I've never seen one personally that has been done virtually. And there's frankly never been a real need to do that, but the need became very salient at the time. And so we had to figure out how to move the content from physical to virtual in a day. And it took a little bit of time, but we ended up pulling that off.
Great, thank you. So as you approached go time, I believe ultimately you had about 200 folks from around the world involved in the sprint. Is that right?
That's right. So it became much bigger in scope than we initially anticipated. So we knew that we would get some interest right away from existing undergraduate and graduate MBA students and potentially others in the IU system. But as soon as we posted it online, we realized that there was ideas coming in from around the world. And then we started to think, okay, well, we actually might be able to make a real difference here. So how do we go about executing on this? And we had entrepreneurs, we had technologists, we had venture capitalists, we had MDs, surgeons, people that were engineers and working on ventilators. And so, originally we thought we might get some ideas related to technological developments, related to connecting employees with employers, or helping people get groceries, these types of things. And what we realized is there's a lot of other ideas that came in, and we had to step up to execute on that. So.
Wow, how exciting. Thanks, Regan. So highlight some of the key problems that you all either chose to address or maybe they chose you to address, right?
Yeah, so the way it kind of worked out, we had about 50 or 60 ideas come in. And our next task was to see how we could take the idea leads and match them with people that said, I want to participate in some other capacity. I don't have an idea, but I want to help. I'm a technologist. I can build web. I'm a designer. I'm a VC. So we had to match them somehow. So what we ended up doing is we formed 11 themes, idea themes, on the fly as the day was about to launch. We created these teams and we took the themes together with similar ideas, and then we partnered them with other individuals. So some of the ideas were related to healthcare, or PPE was a big thing. So obviously we've heard about the mask shortages across the country, across the world, and so figuring out solutions to get PPE into the hands of healthcare professionals. Ventilators. So a couple of teams have proposed alternative ventilator solutions or ventilator training solutions. So we put them together. We had others that were looking at employer problems. So obviously, more than 6 million jobless claims last week. So a lot of people are out of work. And there's also a lot of new problems that people that are in business are needing to address. So finding ways to deal with that. Food stockouts. And then another one that came up was, like basically educational. How do we get young people to realize that social distancing is important? So this was proposed by one of our current undergraduate students, and there was 6 or 7 others. We ended up with 11 themes. We started with that, and then by Saturday morning, we actually had 10 additional themes jump on. And because the interest was social, good, and nature, we just kind of onboarded them as we went. So, yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. I watched the highlight reel of the sprint on YouTube, And I have to say, Regan, I was so impressed by what I was seeing in the eyes of the participants and the instructors. And I would characterize that as the collaboration was not only working to solve these issues, but it was meeting other needs concurrently. The need that we have as human beings to connect and to collaborate. And one of my favorite B school professors who recently passed away, Clayton Christensen, talked about there is no innovation without collaboration. I really believe that. Were you feeling that similar sort of rhetoric as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in some ways, we we had this unique opportunity where we kind of had a captive audience, people that had been interacting in their workforces up until a week or a few days before that were just immediately sent home and isolated. So we had all these people with a lot of energy and they weren't sure how to direct it. And one of the surprising things that came out of this is, on the Sunday night, we hosted a little reception with all of the teams, and there was a lot of people that talked about their experience. And a lot of them said, before this, I had all this nervous energy, and all it was doing was every hour, every 30 minutes, I was looking at, the Johns Hopkins website that has posted case and
Yeah.
death data, and it was overwhelming. And what we ended up doing is we gave them this really focused task, and they worked for 48 hours straight almost, with minimal break times and eating dinner at the computer. And all that went away because we could channel their energy toward this positive social cause. So it was amazing to see people kind of bring that up in the celebrate the final Sunday night. Um, and just kind of function as this kind of positive group therapy in one way. So that was a cool outcome that we weren't expecting.
Thank you. Thank you. How about other outcomes you might want to share with us, either expected or unexpected?
So one of the I guess this would be partially unexpected outcomes was, we had tasked people and put them on teams that they had never met others by Friday at 5 p.m. And their deliverable was by Sunday at 5 p.m., 48 hours later, they would have to build a prototype for what they were working on, whether that be physical or app-based, and then create a video to demonstrate what that prototype could do to the marketplace. And we thought it might end there for a lot of teams, and that would still be a phenomenal outcome because they were able to bring something to marketplace, and potentially another organization could pick up where they left off and run with that concept. But what we found is on the Monday morning, exhausted as we were, I started getting messages that, hey, we're still in our work group. We're working with our team. We're forming a council. We've added a couple of new members. We're trying to go to market with this. And it was just really surprising to see how many teams had continued on. So 7 or 8 teams immediately kind of formed, and a few others have been working through ideas to see if they have anything. A couple of the teams passed off ideas to larger organizations. A national grocery chain in Canada was one of them that was involved with one of the concepts. I don't know how far they've gone with it. And then a couple of others basically formed nonprofits or social enterprises as a result of this. One of them that's been getting a lot of traction in the last few days is a company or a venture called Real Heroes Need Masks. And what it is a social media campaign / matchmaking service that provides hospitals around the country with PPE. So they've already shipped 20,000 masks, and I believe there's a couple 100,000 more in the works. Those have landed. Their team went from 1 or 2 physicians and a couple of other entrepreneurs to 10 plus medical professionals in the last few days. And they've been posting pictures of the PPE landing at these hospitals and the healthcare workers grabbing them, and just so grateful because of the scarce resources that they're dealing with right now. So that's been great to see. And I don't have any direct knowledge of a life saved, but I have to think that that's making a difference. So we encourage that team to keep rolling, and several others as well.
Fantastic. Good things happen when we come together. And thank you, Regan, for walking us through some of those special outcomes that I'm sure are continuing today. I wonder if you just touch briefly on your Kelley and other colleagues who helped facilitate and support the sprint. Tell me about their take on this experience.
Yeah, so I mean, at first, I have to say, our first initial call, everybody was interested in figuring out what we could do. But as we started talking about it a few days before the sprint, you could see that people were unsure as to what this would look like and how challenging that was going to be. And so we just really had to turn the page and say, we're not going to execute on this as we would with a typical academic program that might take 8 months of planning. We're just going to have to move fast and put something out there and see what difference we can make. And that was intimidating for a lot of people in the group, of course. But once we embraced that kind of entrepreneurial hustle mentality, everybody rallied together and we just started dividing and putting the programming together. So there's several people that were involved in that. Matthew Josephy, one of our strategy professors, was key at developing a lot of the programming and getting many people involved as well. Others were Will Gagan, Greg Fisher, Sophie Bach, and Trent Williams. Those were kind of the core organizing team, and we had support from the department level with Tim Baldwin, and of course from the Johnson Center for Entrepreneurship with Don Bratko, Dr. K as well. They empowered us to go forth and try to build this as quickly as possible. And then, of course, at the school level, the deans caught wind of it and then became very supportive of it and have been instrumental in helping with some of the outcomes like the PPE team and others as well. Quickly mention too, beyond that, we also had each team, so we ended up with teams, got a faculty mentor to help them throughout the program. So there was 4 faculty check-ins. So we had about another 10 or 15 Kelley professors that volunteered on the spur of the moment to be part of this program and spent a lot of time. We also had some others from other institutions in Canada and the West Coast that said, I'd love to do that. And we just wanted to make them part of the program. So we matched them with teams. And then beyond that, we matched every team with a community mentor. So we reached out to people that were in VC or accelerators or had experience with startup sprints, and we matched each team with one of those people as well. So it was really quite a large collaboration, 30 to 40 people on the programming side that just came together within a day or two, and then 150 or so participants.
Wonderful. And also being a Kelley staff member, I'm so proud of our Kelley colleagues when they come together and what can be accomplished. I know you feel similarly. That's an understatement, right? But I wonder too, since we've been in the online space since 1999 and the collective just power of putting folks together and tackling an issue, especially given this unprecedented time of uncertainty, it makes me that much more proud to be a part of the Kelley family.
Great.
Yeah. Well, Regan, thanks so much. Anything else you'd want to add at this point, or maybe talk about what's next?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, what's next is what we've observed now is our program was designed to be a weekend long, and we had some great outcomes. And once that was done, what we wanted to do was encourage others to do it. So we see a lot of accelerators, a lot of other institutions that seem to be jumping on board to this idea, with ideas and helping entrepreneurs do this as well. So that's been a neat outcome as well. And not to say that we were instrumental in their involvement, but being part of a community, our institute at IU and other institutions all working together toward this collective goal is really, really great. We just happen to be at the right place at the right time and having background in online education that we were able to move really quickly with this concept. From here, I can see us wanting to see if we can find other ways to get sprints into some of our programming, and there's been some requests to brainstorm how we might be able to look at what we've done and build some new programming around that. It might take on a different feel, so it could be something that's related to, rather than urgent crisis interventions and solutions can be used. In the moment of COVID-19, it might be more related to how do we get small business to recover from this major disruption, and we can build programming around that. So we're still relatively early. We're in the idea stage of that. We're not sprinting this weekend on it. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out and hopefully be able to deliver something back to the campus.
Fantastic, and I'm sure you will be able to do so, and then that'll be a good impetus and outcomes for our next discussion.
Great.
All right. Well, Regan, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for walking us through this significant event. I'm excited for the outcomes that will continue to come from it, and thank you for opening your home to us.
Of course, my pleasure, Tim. Good to see you virtually, of course.
Great to see you virtually, Regan. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. That's all for this edition of Cyber Focus. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any suggestions for future topics, please let us know at CIBER, that's CIBER, @indiana.edu.